Hello, beautiful friends and book lovers. I hope that you are all doing well. It is officially spooky season. I don't know if you can see my little pumpkin jack-o'-lantern shirt. Just got this on Amazon. We're going to do a cute little family picture photo shoot, not a real photo shoot, just my father-in-law taking pictures of my husband and my son. But my son's gonna be wearing this adorable little pumpkin shirt, and I was like, we have to be matchy-matchy, and I figured I would wear it for this video because it is officially spooky season, and I don't really film videos like this. I typically just film my reviews for my thrillers and mysteries, but I have a TBR with over 10 thrillers on it, and I was like, you know what? This would be a fun video because maybe some of you are like me and are in the mood for a spooky thriller. So really, these are gonna be the thrillers that I'm reading over the months of October, November, and December, not including whatever the November and December book of the month thriller picks are. I typically don't skip my book of the month. I usually just get whatever thriller whatever thriller they have, unless it like really does not sound like my cup of tea. If you're unfamiliar with book of the month, it is a book box subscription for $14.99. You get to pick one of their 5 books that they're advertising. But what I love most about it is you can get another hardcover book for $10. So for example, in this, well, not this month, but the month before, for my $14.99 token, I picked, I think I picked We Were Never Here. And then for $10, I got Cherie LePenna's Not a Happy Family, which is insane because these books retail anywhere from like $25 to $30. So when they have an add-on feature for $10 for a hardcover, it's crazy. So you can walk away with getting 3 hardcover books for like 35 bucks, which is insane in my opinion. I mean, hardcovers are so expensive. So I love it. If that sounds like something you're interested, I do have my referral link in the description box below. I would love if you joined with that link because then I get a free book, which is pretty freaking sweet. So the only non-thriller in this video is The Ex-Hex. I'll put a picture of it here by Erin Sterling. I just thought this would be really fun for October, so I did choose it as my book of the month choice. And then the add-on, I got their actual thriller, or it's like vice versa, whatever. So I'll be talking about those, but I'm gonna read the synopsis of each of these books in the event you're interested. So it says, 9 years ago, Vivian Jones nursed her broken heart like any young witch would. Vodka, weepy music, bubble baths, and a curse on the horrible boyfriend. Sure, Vivi knows she shouldn't use her magic this way, but with only an orchard hayride scented candle on hand, she isn't worried it will cause him anything more than a bad hair day or 2. That is until Reese Penhallow, descendant of the town's ancestors, breaker of hearts, and annoyingly just as gorgeous as he always was, returns to Graves Glen, Georgia. What should be a quick trip to recharge the town's lines and make an appearance at the annual fall festival turns disastrously wrong. With one issue after another striking Reese, Vivi realizes her silly little ex-hex may not have been so harmless after all. Suddenly, Graves Glen is under attack from murderous wind-up toys, a pissed-off ghost, and a talking cat with some interesting things to say. Vivi and Reese have to ignore their off-the-charts chemistry to work together to save the town and find a way to break the breakup curse before it's too late. That's usually not my cup of tea, but I'm like, you know what? It's fun. It's about a witch. It seems like it's kind of lighthearted. So I thought it would be a fun read for October. But now we are going to get talking about all of the thrillers. So like I said, the choice that I used my book token on for book of the month for October was Everything We Didn't Say by Nicole Bart. It's like October 2nd when I'm filming this, so my book of the month books aren't actually here yet. That's why I'm putting the stills up here. So the synopsis of this thriller is, Juniper Baker had just graduated from high school and was deep in the throes of a summer romance when Cale and Beth Murphy, a childless couple who lived on a neighboring farm, were brutally murdered. When her younger brother became the prime suspect, June's world collapsed and everything she loved that summer fell away. She left, promising never to return to tiny Jericho, Iowa. Until now, officially she's back in town to help an ill friend manage the local library, but really she's returned to repair her relationship with her teenage daughter, who's been raised by Juniper's mother and stepfather since birth, and to solve the infamous Murphy murders once and for all. She knows the key to both lies in the darkest secret of that long ago summer night, one that's haunted her for nearly 15 years. As history begins to repeat itself and a Dodge local true crime podcaster starts delving into the murders, the race to the truth puts past and present on a dangerous collision course. Juniper lands back in an all too familiar place with the answers to everything finally in her sights. But this time, it's her daughter's life that hangs in the balance. Will revealing what really happened mean a fresh start? Or will the truth destroy everything Juniper loves for a second time? Sounds really good. It sounds more like that whole true crime podcast thing reminds me a lot of The Night Swim. Somewhere here it is, by Megan Golden. That was like a very true crimey feel. It literally was a true crime. No, it's a fiction book, but it was supposed to be a true crime with like a podcast mixed in. So these actually sound pretty similar, other than like the protagonist's journey, if you will. Like I said, that was my book of the month choice. I typically don't skip the months unless it like really doesn't sound like my cup of tea. So gonna read both of those. I also got another add-on in book of the month for $10, The Chestnut Man by Soren Sveistrup. So sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I'll put a still of it here. So this is actually a debut novel. And it says it's from the creator of the hit Scandinavian television show, The Killing. I'm reading the synopsis of these all courtesy of either NetGalley or Goodreads. But it says The Chestnut Man. Here's the synopsis. It says, if you find one, he's already found you. A psychopath is terrorizing Copenhagen. His calling card is a chestnut man, a handmade doll made of matchsticks and 2 chestnuts, which he leaves at each bloody crime scene. Examining the dolls, forensics makes a shocking discovery: a fingerprint belonging to a young girl, a government minister's daughter who had been kidnapped and murdered a year ago. A tragic coincidence or something more twisted? To save innocent lives, a pair of detectives must put aside their differences to piece together the Chestnut Man's gruesome clues, because it's clear that the madman is on a mission that is far from over and no one is safe. This sounds like my cup of tea. This is like literally, this sounds really, really good. This kind of sounds a little bit, well, actually, I was gonna say this sounds like The Whisper Man. It really doesn't. I mean, it kind of does, but it's also like The Whisper Man, The Chestnut Man. That's probably why the connection my brain is making, but this is definitely my vibe. I'm super excited to read The Chestnut Man. The next thriller I'm going to be talking about is Chevy Stevens' Dark Roads. I was actually sent this by the publisher. I have a cute little, they sent a little like water canteen up there as well, which is awesome. I'm super excited to read this. This is courtesy of St. Martin's Press. But I am going to read the inside flat for you. This also very much sounds like my cup of tea. It says, the Cold Creek Highway stretches for 500 miles through rugged wilderness. For decades, young women traveling the road have gone missing. Motorists and hitchhikers, those passing through or living in one of the small towns scattered along the region, have fallen prey time and time again. And no killer or abductor who has stalked the highway has ever been brought to justice. Haley McBride calls Cold Creek home. Her father taught her to respect nature, how to live and survive off the land, and to never travel the highway alone. Now he's gone, leaving her a teenage orphan in the care of her aunt, whose police officer husband uses his badge as a means to bully and control Haley. Overwhelmed by grief and forbidden to work, socialize, or date, Haley vanishes into the mountainous terrain, hoping everyone will believe she's just left town. Rumors spread that she was taken by the highway killer, who's claimed another victim over the summer. 1 year later, Beth Chevalier arrives in Cold Creek, where her sister Amber lived and where she was murdered. Estranged from her parents and seeking closure, Beth takes a waitressing job at the local diner, just as Amber did, desperate to understand what happened to her and why. But Beth's search for answers puts a target on her back and threatens to reveal the truth behind Haley's disappearance. I'll have links to all of these books that I'm talking about in the description box below. I do use Amazon links, which is also, it's super handy in my opinion, because when you click on the link, it'll bring you to the book, obviously, but as you guys know, you can get the Kindle version of the books too, which are usually relatively cheaper. But the next book I'm going to be talking about is called Who is Maud Dixon, which I'm listening to on Audible. But the following thrillers after that are all books that I personally requested on NetGalley. And when I was looking up and getting the synopsis for you guys to film this video, I noticed that all of those books are already available on Kindle, not paperback though. That's why the publisher they're basically promoting these books, right? Because the paperback versions are coming out. So I'll let you guys know when those come out. If you're someone that's like a tangible reader, I'll let you know the date of when you can purchase the actual book. But all of these books are available on Kindle. And I didn't know if you knew this, but I didn't. But you don't need to have an actual Amazon Kindle. You can just get the Kindle app through the App Store, and it's free. So a lot of the books that like, maybe I don't want to buy the actual like full version, or like maybe there's a deal and the actual book is like 99 cents or something on Kindle, I'll just get it there. So all of these books I'm mentioning, even the ones through Book of the Month, I will link them all, just the Amazon links. So in case you want to see if it's like cheaper on Kindle, or if it sounds like something you're really into, making it nice and easy for you. Next book I'm going to be talking about is Who is Maud Dixon by Alexander Andrews. I actually am listening to this on Amazon Audible right now, and it's really freaking good. It's giving me like the Last Mrs. Parrish vibes and like a little bit of like the concept of Verity. I believe that the synopsis gives way too much of the book away. I actually just filmed myself reading it and I was like, what the no, it's way too much of the book in the synopsis. So I'm just gonna give you a short little brief summary here. Basically, your main character's name is Florence Darrow, and she's a writer's assistant. Like, she works at a publishing company, but she herself really wants to be a writer. And like, the most popular author in the game right now is Maud Dixon, which is a pseudonym for somebody else. So basically, she gets the opportunity to work for Maud Dixon, and that's all I'm gonna say. So if you are fans of The Last Mrs. Parrish, I personally wasn't. I do have a review for that. I'll link it up here for you, but I know like I'm in the minority for that. A lot of people loved that book, but I'm getting The Last Mrs. Parrish vibes heavily with this one, but I'm liking this one more. So I don't want to give too much away, but I'm really enjoying that thriller. The rest of these thrillers that I'm going to be telling you about are all books that I personally requested on NetGalley. If you're new here, I will always review my books on Goodreads if I ask for them. Like, all of these ones were granted because I asked for them. But I only review them here on YouTube if they're like really, really good. So for example, I have one of my favorite thrillers of the year. Its pub date is in like a week. It's called The Stalker. I'm gonna be filming that review after I finish this video. That book is amazing, and I just personally requested that. Sometimes I go on NetGalley and I just sit there and request a bunch of thrillers, and sometimes I get granted a lot, and sometimes I get granted none. But I requested a bunch of thrillers because it's spooky season, hello, and I got granted quite a bit. So I'm gonna be telling you all about them here, but these Kindle versions for these books are already here. So if this sounds like something that you really wanna read, the link is in the description box below. However, it's only the Kindle like ebook version at the moment. And like I said, I will tell you the actual pub date for the tangible book if that's something that you want. First NetGalley thriller that I requested was called The Cottage by Lisa Stone. The paperback releases on November 9th. And here's the synopsis for The Cottage. It says, after losing her job and boyfriend, Jan Hamlin is in desperate need of a fresh start. So she jumps at the chance to rent a secluded cottage on the edge of, this looks like Coleshaw Woods. A tap at the window. Very quickly though, things take a dark turn. At night, Jan hears strange noises and faint taps at the window. Something or someone is out there. A forest that hides many secrets. Jan refuses to be scared off, but whoever is outside isn't going away, and it soon becomes clear that the nightmare is only just beginning. Totally up my alley. Cannot freaking wait for this one. I think this is like 99 cents on Kindle right now, which is also really cool too, because this sounds like the perfect read for spooky season. Like, I love getting cozy with, you know, like a mug of tea and a blankie and just reading a thriller that's like suspenseful like that. You know, it sounds like this main character, Jan, is going to be going through a whole hot mess express there, and it sounds spooky. The book is called The Chalet by Catherine Cooper. The paperback releases on November 9th, but the Kindle version is already available. This sounds like In My Dreams I Hold a Knife kind of vibe, like a whodunit. 4 friends, 1 luxury getaway, and the perfect murder. This takes place in the French Alps, 1998. 2 young men ski into a blizzard, but only 1 returns 20 years later. 4 people are connected to the missing man, and they find themselves in that same resort. Each has a secret, and 2 may have blood on their hands. 1 is a killer in waiting. Someone knows what really happened that day, and somebody will pay. Totally up my alley. Love a good whodunit. The next thriller is called Whisper Island by Carissa Ann Lynch. The paperback comes out November 16th. And the synopsis is, it was the perfect escape until one by one they vanished. For friends Riley, Sam, Mia, and Scarlett, their trip to Whisper Island, Alaska was meant to be a once-in-a-lifetime adventure, just 4 young women with everything to live for. But as soon as they arrive, things start to go wrong. First, there's an unexpected arrival of Sammy's drug addict brother and his girlfriend Opal. Why are they here? And then the deaths begin. As the dream trip quickly turns into a nightmare, suspicion is high. Are they really alone on the island? Or is there a killer hiding in the shadows? And as each of the girls reveals a dark secret of their own, perhaps the truth is the killer is closer than they think, just a whisper away. Get the pun? This actually sounds really good too, and definitely another whodunit. The next thriller, I'm shotgunning these out because I've been recording for like 30 minutes. The Unwelcome Guest by Amanda Robson. Paperback is available November 23rd. She had the perfect marriage until her mother-in-law moved in. Okay, this, just even reading that sounds like The Mother-in-Law by Sally Hepworth or something. I freaking hated that book, but hopefully I don't hate this one. Saffron vowed to love Miles no matter what life threw at them both. But when her mother-in-law moves into their happy family home, Saffron's shiny life begins to tarnish. Even as Caprice's barbed comments turn to something more sinister, Saffron hopes the new nanny's arrival will shield her from the worst of it. She's starting to feel paranoid in her own home. Little does she realize that Caprice longs for a new daughter-in-law, and she'll do anything to make that happen. Wow, kind of sounds like Caprice is going to try to get the new nanny maybe to like hit on the husband. Who knows? A little bit of family drama there. I'm here for it. We are down to the last 2 thrillers. Those Who Lie by Diane Jeffrey. The paperback is available December 7th. Emily Klein doesn't know she has killed her husband until the day of his funeral. At first, signs point to a tragic accident. Yet, as Emily pieces together the events leading up to the accident and her own memory loss, she begins to suspect that her husband's death may have been the result of more than a terrible twist of fate. That's worded weird. But the accident is only the beginning. Because while Emily's physical scars will heal, the trauma of the accident has awakened old ghosts. She hears strange sounds, catches things that can't possibly be there in the corner of her eye, and before long, everywhere she looks, she seems to see her husband. That sounds spooky. This is like going to the top of my list. Emily doesn't know who to believe or who she can turn to, and suddenly she finds herself asking the most dangerous question of all. Can she really trust herself? Love this one. This is like really up my alley, probably the most of like any book I've talked about, because I love a good psychological thriller. Like this screams to me like, is she really crazy? Is the husband really dead? Is she really seeing him out of the corner of her eye? Like what's going on? I love a good psychological thriller like that. I'll probably read that one first. And the last book, you guys, is called The House of Whispers by Anna Kent. The paperback is available December 14th. Once you let her in, she'll never leave. And then this is a quote from Susan Lewis, a nail-biting read that absolutely gripped me. Some secrets aren't meant to be kept. When Grace returns to Abby's life, years after they fell out at university, Abby can't but help feel uneasy. Years ago, Grace's friendship was all-consuming and exhausting. Oh, kind of sounds like We Were Never Here. Now happily married, Abby's built a new life for herself and put those days behind her. And yet, as Grace slips back into her life with all the lethal charm she has before, Abby finds herself falling back under her spell. Okay, seriously, this is screaming We Were Never Here. I really did not like that book. I did review it. I'll link it up here. Abby's husband, Rohan, can't help but be concerned as his wife's behavior changes. As their happy home threatens to fall apart, he realizes that there's something deeply unnerving about Grace. Just what influence does this woman have over his wife, and why has she come back now? I'll be honest, kind of sounds savage. I hope it's better than We Were Never Here. I did not like that book at all, but this sounds very like clingy best friend, over the top, like crazy best friend. The other person can't really stand up for themselves, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Anyways, these are all the thrillers I'm going to be reading and reviewing for October, November, December, not including, like I said, the thrillers that Book of the Month comes out with for November and December. If any of these sound like you want me to review them on here, please let me know. Like I said, I typically only film reviews for the books that I requested if I really, really like them, but I'm happy to film one here if you guys want, or if you want to get the book as well and we can do like a little buddy read or something, you can always chat with me on Instagram and Goodreads. But as always, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!